These are 7 specific YouTubers who perfectly represent the 7 heavenly virtues, and we're going to start off with the virtue of charity. Charity is described as a willingness to help others and better the world, no matter the cost to one's personal self. Jack Septiceye is a perfect example of charity, especially when taking into account his annual Thankmas streams. Inspired by Markiplier's charitable acts, Jack decided to follow him and join his friends' fundraising streams for charity. In 2016 and 2017, Jack organized events like his Crisis Text Line fundraisers, eventually making charity work a significant part of his own content. His first ever holiday charity stream started in December 2017, where he organized 2 charity streams for Save the Children, which managed to collect over $260,000. Although these were some of Jack's first ever charity streams, they quickly gained traction and virality. Throughout the next year, Jack continued his charity work by hosting a stream for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. In this stream, through the viewers and other content creators' generosity, Jack was able to reach their goal of 50,000 only 40 minutes into the stream.
Are we seriously gonna hit the 50k goal in the first hour?
His audience loved his charity streams, with many people leaving comments sharing stories about how thankful they were, how proud they were of Jack's charity work, and that his positive outlook on the world had ended up changing their lives. Jack would go on to run another charity stream that same year for the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, and for the year 2018, he raised over $1 million, with one of the highlights being the Thankmas campaign he ran for Crisis Text Line. In 2022, Jack was able to reach the goal of $10 million in only 10 hours, and was able to collab with the World Central Kitchen, allowing them to prepare over 3.5 million meals for people in crisis all over the world.
Every year, not just at the end.
2023, Jack would significantly step up the quality of his streams. In only 7 hours, Jack was able to raise over $6 million. Unlike some influencers who openly boast about their charity work online for the sake of publicity, Jack Septiceye chooses to keep his acts of kindness humbled, because he never advertises himself as a perfect person or a savior. His work shows us the importance of kindness for its own sake, rather than for the sake of social media and validation. By focusing on the needs of others without seeking recognition, he shows a deep sense of integrity and authenticity in his philanthropic efforts. What Jack's fans have also noticed about these charity streams is how truly thankful he is for the donations his viewers have made. With him, honest and genuine kindness is what makes Jack a perfect example of the virtue of charity. Jack's down-to-earth nature and authenticity make him very similar to Vsauce, who is our YouTuber that best represents humility. Humility is described as being modest and free of pride or arrogance. It means that one doesn't need to prove their greatness to the outside world to actually be great. This is what best describes the science YouTuber Vsauce. He's best known for his viral mathematical, scientific, or philosophical videos. One of the ways Vsauce best showcases humility is how he presents complex topics in a manner that's easy for viewers to understand, regardless of their educational background. Despite his deep knowledge for various subjects, he never comes across as condescending or superior to his audience. He invites viewers to explore ideas with him, creating a sense of shared discovery rather than lecturing like a college professor. In the video titled The Science of Awkwardness, Vsauce incorporates research from various fields such as psychology, sociology, and neuroscience to explore the concept of awkwardness. Despite the complexity of the subjects he covers, Vsauce communicates with his audience in a down-to-earth manner. He uses relatable examples, analogies, and humor to make his content engaging and accessible to viewers of all ages. This approach shows how he prioritizes connection and understanding over showing how smart he really is. Vsauce is one of the oldest creators on YouTube, with him having started his channel back in 2010. Until this day, Vsauce still continues to post videos with the same quality, all while showing the same humility he had at the beginning of his career. In a similar vein, MatPat also has a channel focused on sharing knowledge in an easily understandable manner. However, he best fits in the virtue of diligence. Diligence is described as being determined in work, no matter what tries to stop you, and if there's work to be done, you'll do your best to get it finished properly. Known for his YouTube channels like The Game Theorist and Film Theory, MatPat embodies the heavenly virtue of diligence through his dedication to in-depth analysis, meticulous research, and consistent content creation. MatPat's videos dive deep into various aspects of gaming, film, and pop culture. He applies his critical thinking and analytical skills to dissect complex narratives, game mechanics, and cinematic universes. His thorough analysis often uncovers hidden details and theories that enrich the audience's understanding of the subject matter. His most popular video is an FNAF theory video, which has garnered over 30 million views since it was posted 9 years ago. In this video, he examines various aspects of the game, including its storyline, character motivations, and underlying themes of fear and survival. Before presenting his theories and analysis, MatPat conducts extensive research to gather relevant information and evidence. He explores source materials, interviews developers or creators, and consults academic sources to support his arguments and theories. T-Series. MatPat pays close attention to detail in his videos, carefully examining clues, Easter eggs, and subtle references within games, movies, and TV shows. He investigates almost every aspect of the content he analyzes, often uncovering connections that may go unnoticed by casual viewers. Let's go back to his FNAF video. Throughout it, MatPat conducts a thorough analysis of FNAF's gameplay mechanics, drawing connections between in-game events and psychological theories of fear and anxiety. He explores the game's narrative elements, piecing together clues and hidden details to construct a compelling theory about the true nature of the game's horror. Despite the time and effort required to produce high-quality videos, MatPat maintains a consistent upload schedule, or at least he did, across his channels. He releases new episodes regularly, demonstrating his dedication to his audience and his commitment to delivering engaging and informative content on a timely basis. Overall, MatPat's unwavering commitment to thorough analysis, extensive research, and consistent content creation exemplify the virtue of diligence in his work as a content creator and theorist on YouTube, which is a bit like Pewdiepie, who's consistently been posting content on YouTube since the early 2010s. However, Pewdiepie also fits the heavenly virtue of chastity. Chastity, also known as purity, most commonly refers to the quality of refraining from sexual activity that's considered immoral, or any sexual activity altogether. It also means complete fidelity to a husband or wife during marriage, or to have a partner that would always find a way to support you. Pewdiepie, also known as Felix Schellberg, and his wife Marcia Schellberg are a perfect example of chastity. Marcia and Pewdiepie first crossed paths in 2011 when Marcia's close friend recommended watching Pewdiepie's videos. Marcia immediately fell in love with Pewdiepie's personality and humor, which made her want to connect with him on Facebook, with their online chats quickly leading to a meaningful long-distance relationship. Living in different countries caused many challenges, with Pewdiepie in Sweden and Marcia in Italy. Despite the distance, they maintained their bond through daily phone calls and video chats. After a year, Pewdiepie managed to gather up enough money to visit Marcia in Italy. Their chemistry was instant, and they've remained inseparable ever since. It was also during this time that Pewdiepie would get caught in some of the worst controversies of his career, with Marcia always remaining by his side. On January 11, 2017, Pewdiepie posted a video featuring two individuals from Fiverr holding a sign with an offensive message reading "Death to all Jews" as a social experiment to test their boundaries for money.
Subscribe to Keemstar.
This spread widespread backlash, leading Pewdiepie to post an apology. However, he also downplayed the outrage, framing the stunt as shock humor rather than malicious intent.
I want to address the biggest issue first, which I think is the whole guys holding up the sign thing. I'm sure you've seen it. It's been everywhere. A lot of people loved the video, and a lot of people didn't. And it's almost like two generations of people arguing whether this is okay or not. But regardless of that, I just wanted to reiterate that my intention was just to show how stupid the website is and how far you can push it by paying $5. I'm sorry for the words that I used, as I know they offended people, and I admit that the joke itself went too far.
A month later, the Wall Street Journal accused Pewdiepie of anti-Semitism, and Maker Studios, which was Pewdiepie's network, responded to this news by breaking their contract. Pewdiepie would also fall into a subscriber war with the massive Indian YouTube channel called T-Series, and while this started out lighthearted, he would soon fall into another controversy. On the 15th of March 2019, a Pewdiepie fan would livestream himself in the Christchurch Mosque in New Zealand, said, "Remember lads, subscribe to Pewdiepie," before carrying out a deadly attack that took the lives of 49 people. In response, Pewdiepie tweeted his disgust after having his name associated with the attack and offered condolences to those affected by the tragedy. Throughout all of this, Marcia remained by his side despite all the controversy he was a part of. In fact, the both of them would continue to date for 2 more years before they would eventually marry in 2019. Even Pewdiepie fans have noticed how strong the two's relationship have been over the past few years. From thousands upon thousands of fan art featuring the two, to Reddit submissions and PewDiePie's subreddit praising their relationship, it was always obvious to the internet that the both of them have a very healthy relationship. It was only this year that PewDiePie announced that he and Marcia were having a son, and PewDiePie's audience quickly celebrated this, making plenty of posts congratulating them.
I've been keeping a secret from you guys, and that is, I'm gonna be a dad. We found out that Marcia is pregnant first in November, and I'm just so thankful.
However, there was also a very loud minority on Twitter making offensive tweets about PewDiePie's son, some even going as far as to wish Marcia would have a miscarriage, though most of these tweets have been deleted. This caused some drama on Twitter, with PewDiePie's fans hopping onto the platform to defend him. PewDiePie never saw nor acknowledged all of this drama because he had stopped using Twitter years ago. His son was delivered safely, and he and Marcia are having the time of their lives, living together in Japan with their son and enjoying Pew's retirement. Kindness is the act of being helpful to others without expecting anything in return, not for personal gain but purely for the benefit of the person being helped. Coryxkenshin is an incredible example of this, who's known for his Let's Play videos, charity work, and down-to-earth nature. Coryxkenshin exemplifies kindness in various ways through his YouTube content and interactions with his audience. One way he demonstrates kindness is through his positive demeanor and uplifting messages in his videos. He often spreads positivity, encouragement, and kindness to his viewers, creating a welcoming and supportive community. In the often turbulent landscape of online platforms, he's carved out a safe space where viewers feel valued, accepted, and understood. He's also actively engaged in charities, using his platform to raise awareness and support for various causes. Whether it's organizing fundraisers for humanitarian aid, advocating for mental health awareness, or promoting social justice initiatives, he uses his influence to affect positive change in the world. Because of this, one of Coryxkenshin's only flaws has to be the fact that he goes on breaks very often. Since 2011, he's had a total of 13 hiatuses, each on and off, with Cory always returning after breaks that can span from 2 months to his most recent hiatus lasting up to 7 months now. Cory has also played a major part in calling out YouTube for unfair video or monetization removals, which he explains in his video, YouTube, Racism and Favoritism. In this video, he talks about his experiences with YouTube age restricting a horror Let's Play video he posted while the platform allowed other creators to post them.
You guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two. These are the 3 options, YouTube.
This would lead to plenty of other commentary YouTubers and Let's Players speaking in Cory's defense.
Now, before getting into the specifics of the situation, I'd like to say, I think most people have been aware of favoritism on YouTube for quite a while. You know, it's not exactly like the Krabby Patty secret formula. It's not hush hush. I think everyone has recognized that there is some level of favoritism on the platform. I mean, there's even that viral video from a few years ago where the CEO of YouTube said to Juice WRLD that they need to pump his numbers up, which indicates artificial growth. It means that they have at least some capability of boosting channels, whether that's through the algorithm and pushing it to more people, or just inflating it themselves for channels they deem worthwhile and good for business. And the inverse is likely true, where they can hide channels they think are problematic and bad for business.
This lack of controversy has meant that Cory has had no drama featuring him. He's never been cancelled, and he holds a clean track record on YouTube. Due to this, there are often plenty of YouTubers always trying to start drama or attempting to cancel him just for a few views.
Diverse groups, says you're too much of a fucking prick. You think that it's all in the guise of being fake nice and that they're really racist and they wear their Ku Klux Klan hoods on the inside and that they do all this just for a facade. I don't get it, man.
But despite this, Cory doesn't respond to any of these videos. He even tells his fans not to send any hate or to fight on his behalf. In fact, Coryxkenshin calls his fan base the samurai because he wants his fans to always act kind, noble, and courageous. Additionally, Coryxkenshin's kindness shines through his humility and authenticity. Despite his immense popularity and influence, he remains grounded and approachable, never losing sight of the values that define him. His willingness to share personal struggles and vulnerabilities fosters a sense of solidarity among his audience, reinforcing the notion that kindness knows no boundaries. Kindness and patience are often correlated to one another, but there is a small difference between them, especially when George Janko comes into the picture. George Janko's experience with the Impulsive podcast, particularly his departure, reflects his embodiment of the heavenly virtue of patience. Patience involves steadfastly working towards goals, enduring trials, and calmly awaiting results without frustration or anger. Despite facing challenges and discomfort within the podcast environment, George's departure was not sudden, but marked by subtle clues over time. Initially, George's relationship with the podcast hosts Logan Paul and Mike Malak seemed to be going smoothly. However, as episodes progressed, tensions arose, creating moments where George felt isolated and sidelined during discussions. His attempts at humor and contributions often fell flat or were met with dismissive reactions from Logan and Mike. Even though George was often made the punching bag of these jokes or was ridiculed, he always tried to keep things lighthearted and tried to hide how these comments were actually affecting him. Again, showcasing his incredible amount of patience for his co-hosts and guests. A great example of this was when George shared a long monologue with their guest Dane Cook. The response from the viewers were pretty negative, with many stating that George talked too much about himself to the point where the guest seemed bored. Another episode that featured this was the one with comedian Sebastian Maniscalco. George attempts to make jokes multiple times, but most of them would fall flat. However, the tipping point of the entire situation came during episode 351 of Impulsive. In this episode, Logan welcomed comedian Bobby Lee as a guest, and as the podcast progressed, it became very obvious that George was being ignored by everyone. Later on, George would share a deeply personal story about his religious beliefs.
Well, yeah, actually, I don't really talk about it because I don't like to waste people's times. I'm very collective. So if I have an issue that's deep in my soul or whatever I'm dealing with, I'll go to people like my mom and dad, honestly, because they knew my whole life. They know my decision making. I'll go to my friends if I know I could get a good answer out of them. But if I know it's just gonna be like, oh no, I just made the room uncomfortable. But for 2 years of my life recently was the hardest years of my life. I gained 40 pounds of weight. I was really, honestly, if I was not Christian, I'd probably be suicidal. And it was really, really bad. I never told anybody about it. And it was pissing me off because it was the most exciting years of my life. I was getting everything I've ever dreamt about. Money was no longer an issue. Not that it ever was even. Like, I just couldn't understand why I got everything that I've ever prayed for, but yet I was so unbelievably depressed. And I never let anybody know because I was always the guy who tried to make people laugh. But once I fixed my focus, everything changed.
Yeah.
When I was at Five Guys, I make that reference because I remember I do evaluate a lot of things and reflect. And when I was at Five Guys, it was simpler. It was me with my friends. It was also
with Bobby responding with a pretty offensive joke, effectively shutting down any attempts at a proper comeback from George.
It was just a long monologue.
He was just waiting.
Let me just say something. I loved what you were saying. It was just very long.
Gradually, George receded into silence, allowing his fellow co-host to manage the conversation with Bobby. But it was only when Logan pointed out how quiet George was that he finally walked off the set.
There was certain...
He is clocked out.
Yeah, I know.
George has been under a tremendous amount of abuse.
No,
No, stop, George. I want you over here with me. George, I want you over here with me. Chase him down. Go. You find him. George, no, go get him. Go get him. I said this, he walked, and that's a first. And now we're going to have to deal with the fallout of this episode for the next two fucking months. I swear to God, Bobby Lee, you fucking pissed off my co-host. He's probably crying in the driveway.
Ultimately, George chose to part ways with the podcast, a decision that was met with mixed reactions from fans and hosts alike. While some criticized his departure as unprofessional, others recognized the underlying issues of disrespect that led to his exit. Through it all, George exhibited patience by remaining steadfast in his values and integrity, even in the face of adversity and criticism. George's journey underscores the importance of patience in maintaining dignity, seeking resolution, and ultimately choosing the path that aligns with one's values and well-being. Temperance is often characterized as emotional restraint or self-discipline, which is the skill of moderating desires, emotions, and attitudes. Ali Abdaal really shines through as someone with an incredibly mature and balanced outlook on life, work, and personal growth, making him the perfect example of the virtue of temperance. In his video, Day in the Life as a Doctor, Ali provides viewers with a glimpse into his daily routine as a doctor, YouTuber, and entrepreneur. Throughout the video, Ali demonstrates how he manages his time effectively to accommodate various commitments while also prioritizing self-care. He emphasizes the importance of maintaining a healthy work-life balance by integrating breaks, exercise, and social interactions into a schedule. Ali's videos often focus on productivity techniques and study methods. He practices self-discipline by setting clear goals, managing his time effectively, and avoiding distractions. By adhering to productive habits, he maximizes his efficiency without succumbing to procrastination or burnout, which is made most evident in his viral videos like How I Manage My Time, 10 Time Management Tips. Ali Abdaal's commitment to balance, self-discipline, and emotional moderation makes him another great example of the virtue of temperance. He strives to lead a harmonious and fulfilling life while inspiring others to do the same through its thoughtful content and personal journey.